Hello friends. So in today's video, we will continue our discussion related to the current affairs. Okay. So in current affairs, government is planning to set up the next finance commission. That's the 16th finance commission. That's why we are reading this news. Okay. The previous one, that is the 15th finance commission, was set up in November 2017. So it's 5 years. So finance commission is set up for a period of 5 years. Its 5 years are about to end. Before that, the day of implementation, from there we count the 5 years. So this 5-year period is about to end. So before it ends, we will constitute the next finance commission and allow it to start working. Okay, so that's the news related to 16th finance commission. We are planning to set this up. Okay, so there are certain changes, there are certain events that have occurred post 15th finance commission that the 16th finance commission should monitor. Okay, so what are those events? First one is the COVID-19 pandemic. So COVID-19 and associated economic disruptions must be taken into account when 16th finance commission is talking about devolution of money. Okay, so that's the function of finance commission. Finance commission is actually supposed to decide how much amount of tax, whatever tax government is collecting, how much amount of tax the central government should keep it with itself, and how much percentage of it should be given to states. Apart from that, there are other functions of finance commission as well that we will be seeing in detail later in this video. Okay, so basically, to cater to the task of finance commission, that what percentage of tax should be kept with the central government and what percentage should be given to the state government, to cater to this requirement, it needs to study these factors. First one is COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected the income tax to the government. Again, apart from that, Russia-Ukraine war and its associated global inflation. Global inflation also because of several other factors, problems in the service-based industry right now, or oil-related issues, or global food crisis because of Russia-Ukraine war. These two factors together should also be kept in mind when Finance Commission, 16th Finance Commission, is giving its recommendations. And India's debt to GDP ratio reaching up to 90%. This is something very big problem, because the debt to GDP ratio actually denotes that how much amount of debt has been created for unit change in GDP. So if there is one single unit change in GDP, what is the amount of debt you are creating? The amount of debt is 90%. Matlab, for 100 units change in GDP, 90 units are your debt. So this is a very significant number because government is taking heavy loans. The problems, the justifications can be numerous. But right now, debt to GDP ratio is a problem that should be considered by the Finance Commission. Okay. So now coming to understanding about the cess and surcharge problems, and before we start comparing the recommendations of 15th to 14th and 12th and so on, we need to first understand what is cess and what is a surcharge. Okay, so coming to the meaning of cess. Cess, basically it is collected for a designated purpose. Designated purpose matlab, there will be, let's say, coal cess, or there can be cess on anything. Okay, the name of the designated purpose will be mentioned in the name of the cess itself. Okay, for example, if you are saying coal cess, matlab this much amount of percentage will be taxed. Both of them are actually tax on tax only. Okay, both of them are tax on tax. So for example, you for a particular product, let's say you are paying A as a tax, so both cess and surcharge will be a tax on this only. Okay, so both of them are a tax on tax only, but the difference lies in this designated purpose. Cess is collected for a designated purpose. Let's say you are collecting education cess or coal cess. That means whatever money you are collecting will be used only for education or only for coal. Okay, reduction in consumption of coal. Secondly, it has a definite purpose and cannot be used outside the purpose. It cannot be used outside the purpose. If it does so, CAG will come into picture. If they say that this was a cess that you mentioned, then why did you spend it elsewhere? Okay. Its charges are fixed. So, you will have a fixed percentage. This is a percentage that I am charging. Okay. That is a fixed charge. and it is levied on everyone who is using that service. Let's say you are buying petrol, you are generating some amount of carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, so you might be charged a coal cess. Okay, so this is charged on everyone who is making use of that service. Okay, but in case of a surcharge, this is relatively different because its purpose is not defined. Matlab, we do not know where ultimately it will be used. Although it will be charged by government, it's a tax on tax only, but and will be used for your benefit only. But where it is being used, this we do not know. That is one case in surcharge. That's one difference between cess and surcharge. And it is collected over and above payable income tax. So how much amount of income tax you are paying, on that this will be charged. Okay, so that makes it variable, because income tax can still be a fixed slab, 10%, 20%, 30%. But what you are actually paying, you can have you can make some investments and undertake an income tax rebate. So ultimately, after rebate, whatever income tax you are paying, on that we are charging the surcharge. And this is usually levied on a higher income bracket. This is not charged on everybody. So that creates the difference between cess and surcharge. Because of this, because of payable income tax, this charge varies across incomes. Okay. Now, both of them we discussed as collected by the central government, kept with the central government. So, cess and surcharge will be charged by the central government, and whatever money is being collected, it will be totally kept by the central government only. Even if 15th Finance Commission is coming up with the recommendation, the recommendation should be out of this. Cess and surcharge must remain with the central government only. Okay, and both of this money is kept in the Consolidated Fund of India. We know that there are three funds, right? Public accounts, consolidated, and contingency. So all tax earned money is entering into Consolidated Fund of India. Similarly, cess and surcharge are also kind of tax, right? So that is also entering the Consolidated Fund of India. Now, here we will compare 14th Finance Commission to the previous ones. Okay, so initially 14th Finance Commission, when they gave their recommendation, right, they said that whatever income tax central government or government is collecting, out of this 42% must be given to states. Initially it was 32% only. So 14th Finance Commission increased the state share in divisible pool from 32 to 42%. So the recommendation initially was to enhance, augment, or give more money to states. Okay, so this can help in decentralization. States will have greater flexibility in choosing the scheme, deciding the scheme, and all that. Okay, so initially the recommendation was to increase the divisible pool from 32% to 42%. Although because the number of states itself reduced to 28%, so by 1% this was reduced. Later on, Finance Commission themselves agreed that because earlier we had more states, now we have less number of states, so let us reduce this from 32% to 42%, from 42% to 41%. This was only 1% change. Okay, although the article says that this could have been managed by the Planning Commission grants. So Planning Commission, the former body of Niti Aayog, it used to, apart from recommendations that this much amount of money should be given to states or this much amount of money should be kept with the central government, such recommendations Planning Commission used to give. Okay, apart from that, Planning Commission also had a free hand in giving a statutory grant. So Planning Commission had a hand in giving grants. This power Niti Aayog is not having. Okay, so Vijay Kelkar has recommended that Niti Aayog, let's create Niti Aayog 2.0, which should also be having Planning Commission's power of giving certain amount of money. We are calling that as grants. Okay, so Planning Commission grants were given earlier. Now this article says that there was no need of reduction of this 1%. This could have been managed by the Planning Commission grants. Planning Commission grants are continuing, okay, in the form of Finance Commission grants. Now, cess and surcharge was kept under the non-shareable category. The 14th Finance Commission says that cess and surcharge we will not be interfering, because let us continue to give it to the central government only. So, because it was kept in the non-shareable category, now what did central government do? They kept on increasing the cess and surcharge. Okay, if we see here, it has increased from 12% to 18.5% in the same period. Okay, the period is 1519 to 2023. Okay, in this period, initially the cess and surcharge was 12%. This has reached up to 18.5%, because now central government can keep more money with itself. Okay, that is the idea here. If we see this data, presently effective share of states in the central's gross tax revenue, this is 31%, okay, as compared to 35% due to inordinate increase in cess and surcharge. So cess and surcharge, this has increased from 12 to 18.5%, because of which states share has reduced. States share has reduced in 2015-19, it was 35%. It has come down to 31% now. Okay. This is another comparison in that in 13th Finance Commission, the share of surcharge, cess and surcharge was around 9.6% only. This is doubled from here. Sorry, from here to here it has doubled. So that is a problem, right? Initially under the 12th Finance Commission recommendations, cess and surcharge percentage was only 9%. So a small amount was kept with the central government. Now it has increased to 18.5%, more than doubled. Okay. Now, some of the recommendations made by the article here says that, you remember we were talking about 9% was given under 12th Finance Commission as a cess and surcharge. So, the recommendation says that the share of states must be increased if the proportion of cess and surcharge crosses 10%. That means 9.9, 9.6, 9.9% is also fine. But as soon as the percentage of cess and surcharge is increasing, matlab more money is entering into the central government's hand. Now, if it is entering more, then the share of the states in the divisible pool, the share of the states must be increased. This is one of the recommendations. Ultimately, the idea is decentralization and giving more flexibility to states, because the problem of every state is very different. They need financial autonomy, they need financial independence to decide what program is fit for them and what is not, right? So if we increase the state's share, we will be giving them greater independence to decide what is required for them and what is not. Okay, another recommendation says that the 16th Finance Commission, the article says that 16th Finance Commission must ask the states to restrict themselves to maintain fiscal deficit by putting fiscal performance as one of the criteria in horizontal distribution. So it says that 16th Finance Commission should decide, there are certain terms of reference. The terms of reference are basically the pointers that Finance Commission looks at. How much money should be given to states? How much money should be divided amongst the states? So for that, there is a terms of reference. There is an index. For example, they will look into the population. They will look into the performance criteria of the states. Okay. So the article here is saying that in the performance criteria of states, if your state is performing better, then let me give you a little less money, because as of now you're performing, right? Let us help those states which are not performing. Okay. So the article says that fiscal performance should be one of the indicators in horizontal distribution. Horizontal distribution matlab distribution amongst the states. So it is saying that states must be prudent in maintaining fiscal deficit. How much amount of loan state is taking, by keeping fiscal performance as one of the indicators in horizontal distribution. And another recommendation says that setting up of a loan council, as recommended by 12th Finance Commission, its task should be to oversee the loan magnitude of central as well as state government. So how much loan the central government, you remember we spoke about debt to GDP ratio as 90%. So such huge amount of loan being taken by either central government or state government, this is not healthy. Okay, so there should be a loan council who should decide on what parameters I should give you money. If you have taken so much amount of loan, let's say a state has taken such and such amount of loan, you should try repaying at least 40%, 50% of it. Only in that case, we will be giving you the next round of loans. So there should be a loan council who should be deciding what should be the criteria of giving loans to a particular state. Okay. So these were some of the recommendations made by the article. Now we will quickly revise about Finance Commission. Finance Commission, as we discussed, this is constituted for every 5 years, constituted by President. Finance Commission is formed by President and it is having a constitutional backing under Article 280. In that case, it becomes a constitutional body and it is also a quasi-judicial body. Why are we calling it as a quasi-judicial body? Because it is deciding, this is the judicial part, it is deciding which state should be given how much amount of money. So, because that is the judicial aspect, the terms of reference, here is the terms of reference, it looks upon the parameters on what parameters should I be dividing money amongst the states. That is the judicial role of Finance Commission. That's why we are calling it as a quasi judicial body. Okay. So Finance Commission has a constitutional backing under Article 280 that makes it a constitutional body, and its functions are these. First is vertical devolution of taxes, matlab between central and state government what should be the distribution of money. Secondly is horizontal devolution of tax, matlab within the states this much amount of money should be given to such and such states. This much amount of money or this much percentage of money should be given to such and such states because you are performing well. So let us let us finance those states who are not performing well or help them to perform well. Okay. And there should also be grants in aid. That is, there are certain special grants which are given by Finance Commission. So what should be the grants in aid, that is also decided by Finance Commission. Apart from that, what are the measures need to augment the consolidated fund of India? So how to improve, how to increase money in consolidated fund of India, that is also one of the functions of Finance Commission. And lastly, any other matter referred to it by the president. So if president is recommending, asking Finance Commission to refer to any other thing, then that will also be the responsibility of Finance Commission. Okay, it has a mere advisory role, so it is not mandatory for the central government to accept the recommendations of Finance Commission. But because it is having a constitutional backing, so if the central government is not accepting the recommendations of Finance Commission, it should give a written explanation of why the recommendations were not accepted. So in general, the words are very heavy. It is having a gravity in whatever it is saying. It is usually accepted, because in that case central government will have to give a written reply why was it not accepted. Okay. So with that we come to the end of this topic. I wish you all the very best and thank you so much.